So where I'm going with this is just pointing out that unemployment should probably be something like 50%. I know that's going to make a lot of people unhappy, but it's true. It probably should be upwards of 50%, and that unemployment should be predominantly women not employed. Rather, they're homemakers, right? I mean, which is a lot of work. It's a ton of work actually to be a homemaker. And a wife and a homemaker that's a lot of work. It's a ton of work to do that. And you can say, well, but it's thankless work. No, I disagree. I don't think that that's thankless at all. The homemakers that I know, they are all treated extremely well. Ask any man. So, I mean, not to get involved too much into the culture war, but I'm going to attack this a second here. Every man that I've ever spoken with, everyone, it doesn't make any difference, who's been in a relationship for greater than 5 years. So that's our baseline. In the same relationship with a woman for 5 years or greater, if you ask them, how many times has your wife or girlfriend, your significant other, truly wanted something, asked you for something, right? And of that, those times, how many times have you said no? Like for real, put your foot down and said, no, we're not doing that. You can ask a million times. My answer is no, we're not doing it. How many times have you guys done that? And I'll ask the internet here, ask all the guys. Relationship greater than 5 years, same woman. How many times have you truly ever told her no? For most men, they have to think about it. Like, they have to really think about it. And a lot of times they can count it. They can count them. They can like, well, maybe once or twice. In my wife's case, I have to really, maybe twice that I've ever told her, like, no, we're not doing that. We're just straight not doing it. The answer is no. Don't ask me again. How many times has that happened? It's rare. It's extremely rare. And if you ask most men, that's what they're going to tell you. The answer, they're going to say, my God, I've hardly ever told her no. In fact, one man I asked one time, he says, man, I can't think of even one instance. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's because so this idea that, well, that women were powerless and, helpless from the patriarchy and all that bullshit. No, that's never been a thing. You can be pissed off at me all you want. Women can, you guys can hate me all you want, but no, you were never victims. It was never a thing. Women have always controlled the direction of society. They do that through birth. They do that through giving birth to children. If they don't have kids, then that means they're controlling society by not having kids. Think about what kind of kids they're having and are they raising. No, women have always controlled the direction of society. Men do all the work. They're the ones who actually build society. That's true. Okay, those are all those invisible men that I've talked about in the past that build all those buildings and do all this shit, right? Those are the guys who do all this stuff, and they build society. But women drive society. Women are the ones who decide that what society they want. I mean, the world we're looking at right now, in the Western world specifically, this is apparently the world women want. For real, you guys should think about this. Why can I tell this kind of truth? Because I don't want anything from you. There's really very little on this planet that anybody could give me that I would want at this point. So when you don't want anything from somebody, you can tell them the truth. Remember about, 4, 5, 6 videos ago or so, I explained how negotiation works. I explained to you how to negotiate. Fastest way, the most sure way to negotiate is to be able to walk away. And the only reason you can walk away from negotiations is because you don't really want anything from them. They have to entice you, just like you have to entice them, right? When I negotiate a deal, whether it's in trucking or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. I have to say, hey, okay, listen, I'm going to show up at this time, and I'm going to put it on my truck, and I'm going to secure it, and I'm going to make sure that your equipment, because it's a lot of times heavy equipment that I move, is going to get there in one piece. Or, if it's in 5 pieces, it's going to get there in 5 pieces. You get the idea. So it's going to get there, without damage, without incident. And I have to guarantee that, right? I guarantee that, and then of course I have insurance and everything else. So, well, it's a negotiation. right? So they have to entice me. They have to say, well, we're going to pay you $2,000, and I'm going to say no. I'm leaving. Goodbye. That's bullshit money. I can't do anything with that. No. Well, we'll do 5. No. My answer is no. Well, 6,500. Now I'm interested. How soon are you going to have it loaded, or are you going to fuck around for hours on end? Am I going to get there and Manuel's not going to? He's going to be on a fucking Siesta or some shit like that, and he's not going to, load my truck. Like, what the hell? I mean, let's talk real now. And that's how it works. I'm not picking on anybody, by the way. Don't take any of that, my Manuel jokes and stuff. I always make fun of Manuel. So, they make fun of me too. They make fun of the gringo all the time. So, but that's reality. Okay. So when you negotiate like that, if you can walk away and you don't want anything from them, then you can tell the truth. Your goal is to be more honest and to think about things. I mean, think of it like this. Michael Crichton, the late Michael Crichton, in fact, I think he's dead, if memory serves. And he was talking to Wayne Knight. And I don't remember where I saw this interview. This is like an old interview, and I saw it online somewhere, where Wayne Knight was talking about, he played Newman on Seinfeld, for those of you who don't know. He was also in Jurassic Park, but he met Michael Crichton on the set of Jurassic Park, and he had lunch with him. And Crichton brought up this very interesting point about the internet. He said the internet rewards consensus, not thought or truth. That's extremely profound when you really think about it, because more people, if they see any of the content that I produce, and I don't have a huge audience. I'm not criticizing all of my audience people. You guys are all welcome to watch me, but my point is that I don't have a huge audience of millions and millions of people. I probably never will. If I break 10,000, I'd be just fucking stunned. I was stunned at 100, so 10,000 would be insane for me. So if all of a sudden you have this huge audience of people, right, and then you're trying to keep the audience happy, you're trying to keep the crowd, well, that's what you're trying to do, is get consensus. You're trying to get everybody who wants to keep hearing this, as opposed to hearing truth and thought, right? Independent thought, where you sit around and think of something like for real, and then you explain it, or try and explain it. I don't always do a good job of trying to explain it. Some of them are fairly complex thoughts to try and explain, and 70 to 90% of all human communication isn't even verbal, so it's hard to explain some of this stuff. But when you have something like the internet that rewards consensus, rewarding it being think about it. I mean, you're rewarded to have a huge audience. You're rewarded to have all kinds of people sending you money, or sending, buying your products or what have you. I don't have any product to sell you, unless we're doing a deal. I have no real product to sell you. So because of that, it rewards the idea of getting a large audience, as opposed to somebody telling the truth, or at least the truth as they see it, if nothing else, right? So there you have it. And men are after, from what I can tell, they're after, women to be women. And if you have a constant marketplace with a bunch of people in it that are always working and always trying to make lots and lots of money, that are women, what they're not doing is having kids. They're not raising families. And it shows. You can almost pinpoint the young women who don't have dads, because you can tell that they don't really know what men want. That's why they'll do these videos on TikTok. What the hell do men want? I don't understand it. And you'll have most men say, dude, yeah, I mean, the collagen injections and lip fillers and everything, like, most men don't give a flying fuck about that. Like, vast majority of men don't care about that. They don't care about how much money you make. They don't care that you work at McDonald's. They don't care if you have a rubber tree plant in your office. They don't give a shit about that stuff. What they care about is are you, do you want to be women? Men are attracted to women because they're not men. I know that can be confusing right now for a lot of people, it seems, but that's generally how that works.